Officer Brett Harlan tightened the cuffs around the black man's wrists while the whole diner went silent. The man had only asked for his coffee to be reheated and his receipt to be corrected. So why was a badge suddenly treating him like a threat? Why did every witness look away when he said calmly, "Call your chief before you make this worse"? And why did one old silver watch in his pocket make the waitress stop breathing? Minutes later, a single phone call reached the mayor's office, and the officer who thought no one important was sitting at table 9 learned how quickly power can turn into proof. The second cuff closed with a flat metallic click, and every other sound in the Magnolia Line diner seemed to step back. Rain crawled down the front windows. The grill hissed. Near the pie case, Alma Torres put her palm over a fork rattling on a plate. Marcus Ellison looked at the steel around his wrists, then at Officer Brett Harlan. "You are making a record now. Record." Harlan leaned closer, blocking table 9 from the aisle. "No, sir. I'm handling a disturbance. I asked for a corrected receipt. You argued with staff." Alma's mouth opened. "Officer, he didn't—" "Ma'am, step back." The diner shrank around those words. Claire Bell stood by the register, one finger on the drawer key. A trucker turned his cap in his hands. Jonah Bell held his phone under a menu. Marcus shifted his wrists to ease the bite of the cuffs. The chain touched the table. Click. "May I call your chief?" he asked. Harlan gave a dry laugh. "You people always know somebody." Officer Lisa Drew looked from Marcus to the old leather folder on the seat. "Brett," she murmured, "maybe check his ID." "I said I've got it." Marcus looked at her. "Officer Drew, if he refuses, you may call Chief Moore yourself." Harlan's jaw tightened. "You don't give orders in my town." A baby in the back booth made a tired sound, then went quiet. Walter Reed lowered his eyes to his soup. Harlan took Marcus by the elbow. "Up?" Marcus rose slowly. His knee brushed the table. Coffee slid into the saucer. "My folder," Marcus said. "You'll get your property later. There are documents inside that should not leave my sight." "Then you should have thought about that." Alma stepped from behind the counter. "He paid. I printed the wrong ticket. I can fix it." Harlan turned enough to freeze her. "This isn't about pancakes anymore." "No," Marcus said. "It is about whether a badge can turn pancakes into an arrest." Harlan's face shifted. A twitch near his left eye. Jonah's phone scraped against the menu. Harlan snapped toward him. "What are you doing?" "Nothing." "Put it away." Marcus turned his cuffed hands inward. "Young man, do not interfere." The words landed harder than a shout. Jonah lowered the phone, but the red recording dot blinked against the chrome napkin holder. Lisa saw it. Alma saw it. Neither spoke. Harlan pulled Marcus toward the aisle. The old leather folder slid from the seat and hit the floor with a dull slap. A cream envelope showed before Harlan's boot nudged it shut. "Pick that up," Marcus said. "You worried about papers now? I am asking you to preserve what you have touched." Big words for a man in cuffs. Marcus inhaled. Burnt coffee, wet wool, fryer oil. His shoulders stayed square, but his fingers curled once, reaching for something no longer in his pocket. Then the silver watch chain slipped free. It dropped from his coat with a bright clink and swung against table 9. Alma saw the engraving first. Lila, always on time. Her breath caught. Marcus looked down. "Please," he said, "do not let that fall." No one moved. Harlan tugged him another step. The watch slid to the booth's edge, ticking softly against the saucer, while outside, through rain-blurred glass, blue patrol lights washed over every silent face. At 6:18 a.m., Marcus Ellison pressed the silver watch into his palm until the lid left a circle in his skin. The motel heater clicked and pushed out dusty air. Rain tapped the window, turning the red sign across the road into a blur. On the bed, his dark suit hung under plastic. He left it there. His phone buzzed. "Maya? You awake?" Marcus typed. "Been awake." Maya. "Today's going to be hard." He looked at the memorial program. Lila Ellison smiled from the photograph, one hand raised as if caught answering a student's question. Beneath it, the city had printed, "Lila Ellison Scholarship Dedication, Riverton Civic Hall, 2 p.m. Marcus wrote, "Hard days still have schedules." Maya replied, "Dad?" "I know," he said to the empty room. The watch lay open. Its hands had stopped at 9:42, the minute Lila's last call had ended 3 years earlier. Twice he had paid to fix it. Twice it worked for a week, then surrendered to the same minute. Maya had once said, "Replace it." Marcus had answered, "Some things are allowed to tell the truth." Now he closed the lid and hooked the chain inside his brown coat. At 6:45, he stood before the mirror and adjusted a soft blue shirt. No robe, no pin, no shoes that announced a courthouse before he entered a room. His clerk, Denise Palmer, called before he could button the coat. "Judge, please tell me you're not driving in this weather. I'm already in Riverton. You were supposed to let the city send a car. I was supposed to be Lila's husband before I was anyone's guest." "Mayor Hart moved your private meeting to 11:30, Denise said. "Chief Moore confirmed." "I'll be there. Wear the suit." Marcus looked at the old leather folder. Inside were the invitation, 2 student letters, and the review proposal Lila had drafted. "Not today. Judge, if a man needs wool to be heard, he's already lost the room." The line softened. "Call Maya." But Maya did not answer. Her voicemail greeted him while rain pressed lines down the glass. "Hey, baby," he said. "I'm heading out. I'll see you at the hall. Your mother would tell us to eat breakfast." His throat tightened. Outside, cold reached through his coat. The asphalt shone black. A flag rope clicked against a pole. He unlocked his old sedan. On the passenger seat, the leather folder waited like another passenger. His phone buzzed. "Judge Ellison?" a young woman asked. "Tessa Grant, Riverton Police. Chief Moore asked me to confirm you still have the draft packet." "I do." "Mayor Hart wants it before the ceremony." And, "My brother got one of Mrs. Ellison's tutoring grants." Marcus stood with the car door open while rain dotted the folder's corner. His name? Evan. Tell Evan it was never charity. It was an expectation. Tessa gave a short laugh that nearly broke. "I'll tell him." A mile outside downtown, the diner appeared beside the wet highway, its sign flickering gold through the rain. Magnolia Line. Coffee? Breakfast. Open. Marcus touched the stopped watch through his coat. "All right, Lila," he murmured. 10 minutes. He parked under the buzzing sign, lifted the leather folder against his chest, and stepped toward the warm smell of coffee without noticing the patrol car idling at the far end of the lot. The bell over Magnolia Line's door gave a thin ring when Marcus stepped inside. Warm air wrapped around his wet coat. Bacon grease, coffee grounds, and lemon cleaner hung under the low ceiling. He paused on the mat, letting rain fall from his hat. Alma Torres looked up from filling sugar jars, silver threaded through her dark braid. "Morning," she said. "Sit anywhere dry." "Thank you." Marcus chose table 9, near the window. He set the leather folder on the seat beside him, tucked the silver watch chain inside his coat, and turned the coffee cup so the handle faced right. 2 men at the next booth stopped talking. "Bus station's the other way," one muttered. Marcus heard it. He unfolded his napkin. Claire Bell came from the kitchen with a clipboard against her chest, blonde hair pinned too tightly, eyes measuring his coat and shoes. "Alma," she called, "make sure we're not running tabs today." Alma's face tightened. He just sat down. "I'm speaking generally." Alma approached with a pot. "Coffee?" "Please, black." "You waiting on somebody?" "In a way." She poured. "You from around here?" "I used to be." Claire moved closer. Her gaze touched the old folder. "Sir, we ask payment at the counter before long stays." Marcus lifted his eyes. "I intend to order breakfast." "It's just a policy." "Is it written somewhere?" Claire blinked. "No need to get formal." "I wasn't aware I had." The door opened. Cold air crossed the floor, carrying rain and asphalt. Officer Brett Harlan entered first, broad in his dark uniform, cheeks flushed from the weather. Officer Lisa Drew followed. "Claire," Harlan said, "tell me the coffee's stronger than yesterday." "For you, always." Harlan's eyes moved through the room and stopped on Marcus. "Who's that?" Alma picked up the pot. "Customer." Didn't ask what he was doing. Asked who he was. Marcus kept both hands visible around the cup. Lisa Drew glanced at him, compact and alert, with tired eyes that still noticed small things. "Morning, sir," she said. "Officer?" Harlan took 2 steps closer. His wet boots squeaked on the tile. "You got business here?" "Breakfast." "That all?" "For now." Claire whispered. "Brett, maybe coffee first." But Harlan had seen the folder. "What's in there?" "Papers." "What kind?" "Private kind." Harlan laughed once. "Private papers at a public diner. That's new." Lisa shifted. "Brett." "What? I'm making conversation." Marcus opened the menu. The cover stuck to his thumb. "Do you recommend the eggs?" Alma answered quickly. "Over easy's good. Grits, too." "I do like grits." Harlan did not move. "You carrying ID?" Marcus looked up. "Is breakfast an identification procedure in Riverton now?" The diner went thin and quiet. The grill popped in the kitchen. Rain tapped harder against the window. Harlan's smile disappeared. "Careful?" "With my words," Marcus said, folding the menu edge to edge. "Always." Lisa's radio crackled, then faded. Claire backed toward the register. Alma held her order pad ready, but her pencil had stopped moving. Outside, a passing truck caught the patrol car's lights. Blue washed across every silent face, and Marcus saw Harlan reading him not as a customer, but as a problem waiting for a label. Alma's pencil moved when Marcus touched the menu. "2 eggs over easy," he said. "Grits. Wheat toast." "No meat?" "No, ma'am." Harlan stayed beside the booth until Claire called. "Brett, your usual's up." Then he drifted to the counter, close enough to listen. Alma tore the order slip free. "Sorry about that." "About what?" "You know what." Marcus warmed his hands around the cup. "You took my order correctly." The kitchen bell struck. Grease snapped on the flat top. Marcus opened his leather folder just enough to check the cream envelope. The seal caught the light, then vanished. Jonah Bell came from the back with glasses against his hip. He slowed when he saw the folder. "Jonah," Claire warned, "I'm getting napkins." "You're staring." Jonah looked away. One glass clicked. Breakfast arrived hot enough to steam. Alma set a ticket beside his cup. "Whenever you're ready." Marcus ate 3 slow bites. When he reached for the check, his eyes stopped. "Miss Torres." "Yes, sir?" "I believe this includes another table's sausage platter." She hurried over. "Oh, Lord. Let me see." Marcus pointed. Alma pulled a red pen from her apron and circled the line. Her hand trembled, so the circle came out uneven, cutting through the total like a wound. "I'm sorry," she said. The register jumps if I don't clear the last order. No harm done. There is, if Claire sees it. Claire heard her name. What happened? Wrong item, Alma said. I'm fixin' it. Harlan stood, his chair legs scraped backward. Problem? No, Marcus said. I asked her. Alma kept the ticket flat. I charged him for table 4 by mistake. Harlan looked at Marcus. Convenient. Marcus folded his napkin once. Mistakes often are inconvenient, officer. You got a smart answer for everything? I gave a plain one. Claire moved closer. Sir, if you can't pay, I can pay the correct amount. Then why are we having a discussion? Alma's face lost color. Claire, I made the mistake. Harlan took the receipt. People try this all the time. Start an argument, confuse the server, walk out. Marcus looked at the red circle. Do I appear to be walking out? You appear to be making a scene. Walter Reed lowered his newspaper. Jonah stood near the pie case. From there, he could see Marcus's folder. The cream envelope had shifted loose. At the top, half hidden by the leather flap, were a raised seal and the words, Superior Court. Jonah's lips parted. Harlan snapped the receipt against the table. ID. For what purpose? To confirm who I'm dealing with. You are dealing with a customer asking for his bill to be corrected. Wrong answer. Marcus took his wallet from his coat, but did not open it. Ask yourself what you are investigating. Harlan leaned closer. Coffee breath mixed with wet wool. I'm investigating attitude. Lisa Drew set her mug down. Brett, the server said it was her error. Then maybe she should watch her register. Marcus placed the unopened wallet beside the circled receipt. The red ink soaked into the cheap paper and spread at the edges. I will pay, he said. I will not confess to what did not happen. Alma's red pen rolled off the table, tapped Marcus's shoe, and came to rest under Harlan's boot. The red pen lay under Harlan's boot, its cap pointing toward Marcus like a tiny warning. Alma bent for it, then stopped when his heel pressed down. Leave it, Harlan said. It's mine. I said leave it. Marcus's coffee had gone flat. Burnt toast, cleaner, and wet wool hung in the air while rain tapped the glass. May I have the pen returned to the server? You worried about pens now? I'm worried about taking small things because no one stops you. Claire touched the register key. Sir, please don't make this worse. I'm not the one increasing it. Harlan leaned over the circled receipt. Show me ID. Marcus's wallet stayed closed. Tell me what law requires it. You don't test me. That is not a law. Lisa Drew stepped from the counter. Brett, he's asking a fair question. You want to run this? No. Then stand there. A spoon slipped from Walter Reed's saucer and hit the tile. The sound was small, bright, final. It spun once and lay still with cream on its handle. Nobody picked it up. I can show identification, Marcus said. I will do so to end this, not because the request was proper. Hear that? Harlan said. He'll cooperate when he decides we deserve it. Marcus opened the wallet. Behind his license sat a darker card he had used in courtrooms, never as armor at breakfast. His thumb paused. Harlan reached across. Hand it over. You may look while I hold it. Then call your supervisor. Harlan snatched the leather folder from the seat. Marcus's voice changed only by a degree. Do not open that. Private papers, right? Officer Drew, please observe that I object to a search of that folder. Lisa's eyes dropped to Harlan's hand. Brett, don't. The folder snapped open. Only the cream envelope showed before Marcus placed both hands flat on the table. Stop. Not loud. Not sharp. Just one word with weight. For half a second, Harlan did. Jonah stood near the pie case, tray against his stomach. His eyes moved from the raised seal to Marcus's face. "Mom?" he said quietly. Claire shot him a look. "Kitchen." Harlan shut the folder. "You bring court papers into my diner and lecture me in front of witnesses. What are you pulling?" "I am trying to eat breakfast." Harlan's face flushed. "You people think a calm voice makes you untouchable." The words did not fill the room. They emptied it. Alma's fingers closed around Marcus's plate. Lisa stared at the rain-blurred window. Walter folded his newspaper without a sound. Marcus drew one breath. His hands stayed flat, but the veins stood out along his wrists. "Officer, you still have time to correct yourself." "I don't need advice." "No, you need procedure." Harlan tapped the folder against his thigh. "Stand up." Marcus looked at the receipt, pen, and spoon. Each thing had become evidence, though no one had agreed to see it. "Am I being detained?" "You're being removed." "They are not the same." "They are today." Marcus pushed his chair back. The legs scraped over tile. He rose without reaching for Harlan, without raising his voice. Harlan pulled the cuffs from his belt. Alma pressed her lips together until the color faded. Jonah, half hidden by the pie case, slid his phone under a stack of paper menus. Jonah's thumb found the red button as Harlan opened the cuffs. The phone lay beneath two menus, its camera peeking through a gap beside the chrome napkin holder. A red dot glowed and bounced back in the metal. "Jonah," Claire hissed. He lifted a syrup bottle. Table 4 asked. "No, it didn't." Marcus saw the boy's shoulder lock. "Young man, do not put yourself in the middle of this." Harlan snapped the first cuff around Marcus's wrist. Alma flinched. The grill hissed, and scorched butter drifted from the kitchen. Marcus did not pull away. "Officer Harlan, I am asking you again to call Chief Alicia Moore." Lisa Drew turned. Harlan caught it. "Don't." "He asked before," Lisa said. "He can ask the wall." "Then document my request," Marcus said. Harlan laughed. "Hear that? He wants minutes taken." "I heard him ask for the chief." "And I heard a man refusing cooperation." Alma moved toward the leather folder. "Officer, his papers." "Back up. I don't want them stepped on." He tossed the folder onto the booth. It landed crooked, the flap open. The cream envelope slid halfway out. Alma looked down. Raised seal. Formal lettering. Marcus D. Ellison. "Mr. Ellison," she whispered. Marcus turned slightly. "Please do not read private documents, ma'am." "I'm sorry." Harlan tugged him into the aisle. "Now he's got everybody trained." Rain beat the window harder. Claire stepped forward, then stopped. "Brett, maybe let me fix the bill, and we all—" "We all what?" Harlan said. "Pretend he didn't challenge me?" Marcus answered quietly. "You are not the law being challenged. You are a person applying it." Lisa took a breath. "Brett, call Mercer at least." "My supervisor isn't coming for breakfast drama." "Then I'll note that you declined." Walter's spoon still lay on the floor. Harlan turned on her. "You writing me up now?" "No, I'm trying to keep this clean." It was clean until he got clever. Marcus looked at Lisa. "Officer Drew, you know the difference." Her mouth opened, but Harlan pulled him another step. Jonah's phone slid a quarter inch. The red dot flashed brighter in the napkin holder's curve. Harlan noticed. "What did I say about phones?" Jonah gripped the syrup bottle. "I'm working." "Bring it here." "The phone?" "Now." Claire snapped. "Jonah, give him nothing unless he asks me." Harlan's eyes cut to her. "You want obstruction in your diner?" Claire's jaw moved without sound. Her son's hand froze. Marcus lifted his cuffed wrists. "Do not involve him. If he recorded, preserve it. Do not destroy it. Listen to you. Evidence belongs to the truth, not the strongest person in the room. Alma looked at the envelope, then at the watch chain tucked under Marcus's coat. She picked up the fallen red pen, wiped it on her apron, and placed it beside the receipt. Harlan dragged Marcus toward the hallway by the restrooms. Lisa followed, one hand near her notepad. "Chief Moore," Marcus said, clear enough for the phone to catch. "Alicia Moore. Call her before you make this permanent." Harlan shoved through the swinging door. The phone kept recording after they disappeared, capturing Alma's hand as it reached for the folder and stopped above the name she was no longer able to forget. The swinging door hit the wall and bounced back against Marcus's shoulder. Behind the dining room, the diner narrowed into a corridor smelling of bleach, fryer oil, and wet cardboard. Pie boxes trembled when Harlan pulled him past. "Careful," Marcus said. Harlan tightened his grip. "Now you care about safety? I care about other people's work." Lisa Drew came through after them. "Brett, slow down. He's walking fine." "My folder is still on the booth," Marcus said. "My phone, too. You'll get your property at the station. The folder contains city documents." Harlan stopped near the back exit. Rain hammered the metal door. "You keep saying that, like it means something." "It will." "You threatening me?" "No." Lisa shifted around the mop bucket. "Let me collect his things." Harlan dug into Marcus's coat pocket before she could move. The silver chain came free first, then the watch under the fluorescent bulb. Marcus's breath stopped. "Careful with that." Harlan held it up. "What's this?" "A watch? Looks expensive." "It belonged to my wife." The corridor changed. Even Lisa looked away. Harlan dropped it into a clear evidence bag with Marcus's wallet. The plastic crackled. "Property!" Marcus's hands lifted, then lowered. His thumb rubbed the empty place where the chain had rested. In the dining room, a muffled vibration began. Once, twice, then again. Marcus turned toward the swinging door. Alma's voice carried through the wood. "His phone's ringing." "Leave it," Harlan called. "It says Maya." Marcus closed his eyes. Lisa stepped closer. "Family." "My daughter." "Do you need to answer?" Harlan opened the back door. Cold rain cut into the corridor. He needed to think of that before turning breakfast into court. Marcus's voice came low. "I promised her I would not be late today." "For what?" He did not answer. The phone vibrated again, a small buzz under plates and rain. On table 9, it crawled through pie crumbs. "Officer Drew," Marcus said, "please write that I requested access to my phone." Lisa's pen clicked. "I will." Alma appeared with the leather folder pressed to her apron. He shouldn't leave without this. Harlan reached for it. "Give it here." "No," Marcus said. The word struck the narrow walls. Alma froze. Lisa's pen stopped. Even Harlan's hand paused. Marcus swallowed. His face remained composed, but his fingers could not close properly. "That folder contains material entrusted to me. If you take it, seal it in front of a witness." Harlan stepped close. "You don't decide procedure." "Someone should." Harlan snatched the folder from Alma. The cream envelope slid, and she caught the corner before it fell. "Ma'am," Marcus said softly, "let it go." She did. The back door opened wider. Gravel, rain, and exhaust waited outside. Harlan guided Marcus into the cold, down 2 concrete steps toward the patrol car parked beside the dumpster. From inside the diner, the phone rang again, then stopped. Marcus looked back through the square window. Alma stood with one hand over her mouth. Jonah was behind her, still as a photograph. Claire looked at the phone on table 9 and did not touch it. The screen lit once more. Maya. Then it went dark before anyone answered. The patrol car smelled of vinyl, rainwater, and old coffee. Marcus sat sideways because the cuffs would not let his shoulders settle. Through the wet window, Magnolia Line blurred into a yellow smear. Table 9 was gone, but Maya's unanswered call stayed with him. Lisa Drew held Marcus's wallet, watch, and folder in sealed bags. "Those need to be logged exactly," Marcus said. Harlan started the engine. "Still giving instructions. I'm preserving facts. You're preserving a bad morning." Lisa looked down at the watch. "Brett," his daughter called. "She can call the station." "She will not know which station," Marcus said. At 8:07 a.m., they brought him through the side entrance of Riverton Police Department. The lobby smelled like floor wax and damp uniforms. Sergeant Cole Mercer came out with a paper cup. He was 39, square-jawed, with a ring he twisted when irritated. "What have we got?" Harlan pushed Marcus forward. "Diner disturbance, refused ID, interfered with staff, got mouthy." Marcus turned. "That is not accurate." Mercer looked at the cuffs, then at Harlan. "Holding 2. "Sergeant," Lisa said, "there's property and a request for Chief Moore." Mercer's eyes narrowed. "From him?" "Yes." Harlan snorted. "He's been name-dropping since breakfast." Marcus said, "Chief Alicia Moore expected city material this morning. Mayor Hart's office is involved." Mercer's cup stopped halfway to his mouth. For 1 second, the station listened. Then he set it down. "Everybody knows the mayor when cuffs come out." "I am asking you to verify before this moves further. You can ask from holding." Tessa Grant, the duty clerk, looked up from the booking desk. She was 31, narrow-shouldered, with a blue pen behind one ear. "Name?" "Marcus D. Ellison." Her fingers hovered over the keyboard. Harlan leaned in. "Don't let him perform for you." Tessa typed slower. "Date of birth?" Marcus gave it. Mercer pointed down the hall. "Log the property. Search later." "The folder should be reviewed by a supervisor," Marcus said. "It will be reviewed when I say." Holding 2 was beige, windowless, and too cold. A fluorescent tube buzzed overhead. Lisa removed the cuffs. "Sit," Harlan said. Marcus chose the metal bench, its edge pressed through his coat. The cold bit into his palms and left pale bars. Lisa stayed in the doorway. "Do you want water?" "I want my call." Harlan laughed from the hall. "Here comes the mayor." Mercer appeared behind Lisa. "You'll call after intake." "I am entitled to notify counsel or family." "You'll get your process." "Process is not a favor, Sergeant." Mercer's ring turned again. "And rank is not a suggestion." The door closed. The lock clicked. Footsteps thinned down the hall. Marcus sat under the buzzing light and looked at the clock behind the wire glass. 8:19. The ceremony was still hours away, but Maya would be driving soon, checking her phone, hearing nothing. He spread his fingers on the bench. The cold had printed 2 straight lines across each palm. From the booking desk came Tessa's lowered voice. "Sergeant?" Did he say Ellison? Mercer answered too low for the words to reach, but Marcus saw him glance toward the sealed leather folder and look away. Alma did not touch the folder until the patrol car had turned out of the lot. For almost a minute, Magnolia Line served no one. Rain stroked the windows. The grill hissed. Walter Reed bent for the spoon, but his hand shook, and it clicked against the tile. "Jonah," Claire said, "delete what you recorded." Her son stood by the pie case with the phone against his thigh. "No. This is my diner." It happened in your diner. Alma lifted the receipt from table 9. The red circle had bled wider. Beside it sat Marcus's phone, dark. Crumbs near the speaker. We should call his daughter, Alma said. We don't know his code. We know her name was Maya. Claire wiped both hands on her apron. We also know Brett. We don't need police trouble. Walter looked up. I watched a man get walked out for asking about sausage he never ordered. Jonah stepped closer. Safe from what? The truth? Alma picked up the leather folder from the booth. It was not fully closed. A cream envelope had slid loose, damp from the coffee spill. She meant only to tuck it in. Then she saw the raised seal. Superior Court of Georgia. Below it, in black letters, Honorable Marcus D. Ellison. Her fingers went cold. Claire, she whispered. Alma turned the envelope. Jonah's mouth opened. He's a judge? Claire's face changed in pieces. Doubt first, then fear she tried to hide by reaching for the diner phone. I'm calling Brett. No, Jonah said. Alma took the phone first. The plastic was greasy under her palm. She stared at the non-emergency number on the magnet, then stopped. Jonah put his phone on the counter and played the recording. Marcus's voice filled the diner, calm beneath Harlan's sharp one. Chief Moore, Alicia Moore. Call her before you make this permanent. Alma looked around. Does anyone know the chief's office? Walter raised his hand slowly. My niece works at City Hall. Call her, Claire whispered. Walter, please. But he was already dialing. Across town, Maya Ellison stood under the glass awning of Riverton Civic Hall. She had called her father 5 times. The 6th went straight to voicemail. A receptionist opened the door. Ms. Ellison, Mayor Hart is finishing a budget call. My father was supposed to meet her at 11:30? Yes, ma'am. He's not answering. The receptionist checked a tablet. Judge Ellison confirmed yesterday. Maya tightened her grip on the memorial program. On the cover, her mother smiled into sunlight that did not belong to this morning. Then something is wrong. Her phone rang before the receptionist could answer. Ms. Ellison? Alma's voice shook through diner noise. My name is Alma Torres. I work at Magnolia Line. Your father was here. Maya stood still. Was? A police officer took him. Which officer? Brett Harlan. He took his watch, too. There's a folder with your father's name and a court seal. Maya closed her eyes once, hard. Do not give that folder to anyone except Chief Alicia Moore or Mayor Hart. Do you understand me? I understand. Maya turned to the receptionist. Her voice did not rise, but everyone near the desk heard it. Get Mayor Hart now. Tell her Judge Ellison is missing, a Riverton officer has him, and a diner full of people has proof. The receptionist stopped arguing when Maya said proof. She lifted the desk phone with one hand over the receiver. Rain tapped the Civic Hall glass. The lobby smelled of polished wood and damp coats. Mayor Hart is in a call, she said. End it. My father was taken by a Riverton officer. If your mayor waits, she becomes part of the record. The woman swallowed. Ma'am, Judge Ellison's daughter is here. A door opened. Mayor Evelyn Hart came out in a gray suit, 49, compact and sharp-eyed, glasses on a chain. Maya, you were expecting my father. At 11:30. He was in a diner. Now he's in police custody. Hart's office smile vanished. Who told you? A waitress with his name on a court envelope. Hart turned. Get Chief Moore. Direct line. Her office was warmer than the lobby. A brass lamp glowed on the desk, reflected in Maya's phone screen when Alma's number appeared. Speaker? Hart said. Maya answered. Alma? I'm here. Jonah has video. Claire wants to close the diner. Don't let her. Hart leaned close. Ms. Torres, what do you have? A wrong receipt. His phone. Part of an envelope with a court seal. The officer took the folder and a silver watch. Maya's jaw tightened. His watch? Yes. He asked them to be careful. Hart closed her eyes for 1 second. Give nothing to anyone except Chief Moore. Ma'am, Alma said, I'm afraid to touch the counter. Another line lit. Chief Moore is on, the receptionist called. Hart grabbed the desk phone. Alicia, I need you at your station. Chief Alicia Moore's voice came low. Why? Officer Harlan removed Judge Marcus Ellison from Magnolia Line. Silence pressed into the room. Where is he now? Moore asked. That is what I'm asking you. I'm leaving headquarters. Maya stepped closer. My father asked them to call you before they made it worse. I know your father, Moore said. He trained lawyers who now train my officers. Then find him. I will. Stay with Mayor Hart. Do not go to the station alone. The lamp's reflection shook across Maya's phone like a small flame in water. At Magnolia Line, Jonah copied the video while Claire flipped the sign from open to closed until the chain rattled. Mom, Jonah said, pick one. I'm trying to keep us out of trouble. Marcus's phone buzzed on table 9. Denise Palmer. Alma answered and heard a woman snap. Who is this? Alma Torres. I'm with Judge Ellison's phone. He was taken by Riverton Police. I'm calling the courthouse administrator. Do not lose that phone. Do not let anyone erase video. Jonah whispered, This is bigger than Brett. Alma looked at the red-circled receipt. It was always bigger. We just didn't want it to be. At the station, Tessa Grant hurried past, holding 2. Sergeant, she called. Chief Moore is on her way. Mercer's voice sharpened. Who called her? Harlan answered from booking. Diner people making noise. No, Tessa said. Mayor's office, too. Radios lowered. A chair rolled back. Someone opened the property drawer, then shut it too fast. Marcus lifted his head. The bench still marked his palms with pale bars. But down the hall, for the first time, footsteps began moving toward the locked door instead of away from it. The key turned once, then stopped. Marcus looked up. Through the wire glass, Sergeant Mercer appeared first. Behind him stood Chief Alicia Moore in a dark raincoat, water shining along her shoulders. The hallway lowered its voice around her. Open it, she said. Chief, we're still processing. Open the door. The lock gave. Cold air slid in, carrying wet uniforms and toner. Marcus stood. His palms still held pale bars from the bench. Judge Ellison, Moore said. Only 2 words. Down the hall, a pen hit the floor. Harlan came around the corner. Judge? Moore did not look at him. Was he given his call? Mercer lifted both hands. Officer Harlan reported refusal to identify. I did not ask for the report. Moore turned toward the desk. Property. Tessa hurried to the counter. The tray scraped open. Marcus watched the folder appear, then his wallet, then the clear bag with the silver watch inside. The chain was tangled around the crown. His fingers flexed. Moore saw. Unseal that. Chief, chain of custody. Document it. Then unseal it in front of me. Tessa cut the tape. 3 soft clicks. She placed the watch in Marcus's palm. He did not close his hand at once. The engraving caught the glare. Lila, always on time. Thank you, he said. Harlan's face went flat. Nobody told me who he was. Marcus lifted his eyes. I told you whom to call. You said a name. I said it clearly. Moore turned to Harlan. Where is your body cam footage? In the system. Pull it. Mercer stepped closer. Chief, we should speak privately. No, the decision to cuff him was not private. Rain ticked against the back window. Moore opened the folder, touching only the edges. The cream envelope slid into view. Inside were the mayor's invitation, remarks, and a draft proposal titled Custodial Contact Review. Tessa read the title and covered her mouth. Moore looked at Mercer. "This was in your property drawer?" "Yes, Chief." "And nobody opened it?" "We were waiting." "For what?" "For intake," Marcus said. "I asked that the folder be sealed in front of a witness." Lisa Drew appeared at the end of the hall, wet hair clinging near her collar. "It wasn't, Chief. He asked. I wrote it down." Harlan snapped, "Lisa." She did not look at him. "It wasn't." Moore pointed toward the review room. "Independent statements before any of you speak to one another." Harlan's voice roughened. "This is being blown up because he's connected." Marcus closed the watch and slipped it into his coat. "That is the part that should worry you." Everyone looked at him. "If I had no title, no daughter at City Hall, no waitress brave enough to call," he said, "what would be happening at 8:52 this morning?" No one answered. Moore picked up the folder. "Mayor Hart is waiting. Your daughter is with her." "My phone?" Tessa fetched it from a bag. The screen lit with missed calls. Maya, Denise. Maya, Alma Torres. Maya. Marcus's thumb hovered over his daughter's name. "You can call from my office," Moore said. He looked past her to Harlan, then to the holding room. "After I call Maya," he said, "preserve the diner footage before anyone changes their mind." Moore held the door wide, and the hallway cleared before Marcus moved. The review room had no windows, 2 wall screens, and a vent blowing cold air over paper cups no one touched. Marcus sat with Chief Moore at the end of the table. His watch was back in his pocket, though the chain still held a kink. Harlan folded his hands. Mercer stayed near the wall until Moore pointed to a chair. "Sit." City Attorney Daniel Price entered at 9:14, rain on his glasses. "Mayor Hart wants a clean record." "Then begin before here," Marcus said. Price opened his notebook. "Yes, Judge." Tessa dimmed the lights. Jonah's video filled the screen from beneath the napkin holder. It caught the receipt, the cuffs, the spoon on the tile, Marcus's hands flat on the table. Harlan's voice came through. "You people think a calm voice makes you untouchable." Price paused it. On the frozen frame, Walter stared down at Soup. Claire's hand hovered near the register key. Alma stood with one palm pressed to her apron. "That sounds worse out of context," Harlan said. Moore looked at him. "Provide it." He was escalating. Marcus kept his eyes on the screen. "Was I standing?" "No." "Did I threaten you?" "Not directly." Price wrote it down. "Diner camera," Moore said. The second video came from above the pie case. Alma circled the charge in red. Harlan rose before anyone called him. Lisa Drew took one step, then stopped. Price paused. "Officer Drew, why did you stop?" Lisa's fingers locked around a pen. "Because he told me to." "Did you think he was dangerous?" "No." Harlan turned. "Lisa." She looked at him. "He asked for the chief 3 times. I told myself you'd calm down if I didn't embarrass you." Marcus touched the watch chain through his coat. "Body cam," Moore said. The corridor appeared. Bleach-stained tile. Alma holding the folder. Marcus asking that his property be sealed in front of a witness. On screen, Harlan said, "You don't decide procedure." Price paused. "Sergeant Mercer, was the folder sealed in front of a witness?" Mercer twisted his ring. "No." "Why?" "We were busy," Tessa whispered. "There were 4 people at booking." Moore said, "Do not look at her like that." Price slid the booking log across the table. Toner smell rose from the paper. At 8:08, Harlan had written, "Subject refused identity." My name was entered at booking, Marcus said. At 8:09, Tessa answered. Marcus D. Ellison. Did anyone run it? I asked. Mercer stopped turning his ring. Harlan leaned forward. Nobody knew he was a judge. Price's pen stopped. That is not the standard. Moore said, The standard is lawful contact with every person. Lisa's breath shook. I should have said something at the diner. Marcus turned to her. Yes. Lisa lowered her pen. The screen still showed Table 9. Eyes down, hand still, the red circle bleeding on the receipt. Moore stood. Pull radio traffic, booking audio, and every camera from diner to station. Nobody leaves with a private version. Harlan sat back. So I'm done before the investigation starts. Marcus looked at the frozen witnesses. The investigation started when everyone in that room had a choice. Outside, a phone rang once and stopped. Moore reached for the remote, and on screen the fallen spoon waited on the tile, bright and untouched. By 6 p.m., Riverton City Hall had run out of chairs. People stood along the walls, coats dripping onto marble. The room smelled of wool and coffee. Mayor Evelyn Hart set a folder beside the microphone. Chief Moore sat to her right. Marcus sat seats away, Maya behind him. Harlan entered through the side door in plain clothes. Mercer followed, ring turning. Hart tapped the microphone. It squealed. This hearing concerns Magnolia Line Diner and Riverton Police Department on October 17th, she said. We will hear witnesses, then recommendations. Alma Torres stood first. She had changed out of her apron, but red ink stained one finger. I printed the wrong check, she said. Daniel Price leaned forward. Did Judge Ellison refuse to pay? No, he asked me to fix it. Her eyes went to Harlan, then down. When the officer stepped in, I thought if I stayed quiet, it would pass. Quiet didn't make it pass. It made room. Jonah came next in a borrowed jacket and placed his phone on the table. Why did you record? Price asked. Because nobody was going to believe him. Harlan's chair creaked. Jonah swallowed. I didn't know who he was. I just knew he asked a question, and everybody treated the question like a crime. Walter Reed's cane tapped in the aisle. I watched a spoon fall, he said. I thought somebody should pick it up. I did not. Lisa Drew stood last. Her uniform looked pressed, but her mouth trembled. I failed to intervene, she said. I knew the contact was wrong before the cuffs came out. I asked him to check the ID. Then I let rank decide my courage. Harlan turned. You're saving yourself. Lisa did not look at him. No, Brett. I'm saying what I knew when it mattered. Chief Moore rose. Officer Brett Harlan violated contact, detention, property handling, and camera standards. He escalated a civil matter without basis and used authority to silence correction. I recommend immediate termination. Harlan pushed back. Because he's a judge. Moore's voice stayed level. Because he was a person. Mayor Hart opened the folder. Sergeant Cole Mercer failed supervisory review, delayed access to a call, accepted an incomplete report, and ignored property warning. He is removed from shift command, pending discipline. Mercer stared at the table. His ring stopped moving. Hart signed the first page, then the second. The pen sounded louder than rain against the windows. Marcus rose only after she looked at him. Maya's fingers tightened on his chair. He adjusted the microphone with 2 fingers. I have worn a robe for 28 years, he said. That robe did not protect me in a diner. A waitress did. A young man with a phone did. A clerk who typed my name correctly did. A daughter who refused silence did. He looked at Harlan, but not long. If this city fixes the problem only because my name embarrassed it, then nothing has changed for the next man at table 9. No one clapped. Mayor Hart closed her folder. Judge Ellison, will you assist us in drafting reforms? Marcus turned slightly, finding Maya's eyes. Yes, he said, but start with the people who never get invited to hearings. At the back of the room, Alma wiped the red ink from her finger and found it would not come off. The next morning, the city conference room smelled of marker ink and burnt coffee. Marcus sat with Maya on his left, Chief Moore across from him, and Mayor Hart beside a whiteboard. Alma, Jonah, Tessa, Lisa Drew, and Claire had been invited. Hart uncapped a marker. We need language the council can pass by Friday. No, Marcus said. We need language people can understand before Friday. Moore nodded. Plain rules. Marcus opened Lila's folder. The kink in his watch chain caught on the flap. Any detention over a civil business dispute requires a stated basis on camera before cuffs, he said. When someone asks for a supervisor, the answer cannot be laughter. Tessa wrote that in the margin. Harlan was not there. Mercer was not there. Their empty chairs felt heavier than people. Maya leaned forward. And the phone call. One completed call within 30 minutes, Hart said, unless there's a safety reason. Not a feeling, Marcus said. Alma lifted her stained finger. What about property? His watch could have been lost. Moore wrote, property sealed with witness. Jonah tapped his phone. Body cam audit? Monthly review, Moore said. Oversight gets flagged incidents. Claire shifted by the door. I put up a sign. Every customer gets respect. It doesn't fix what I did. No, Marcus said, but it may stop the next silence from feeling normal. By noon, autumn wind pushed leaves across Magnolia Line's lot. Marcus and Maya stood outside while Claire smoothed the new sign with both palms. Every guest will be served with dignity. Concerns may be reported to management or city oversight. The paper was laminated crooked. One corner lifted each time the door opened. Alma came out carrying 2 coffees. Black. No sugar. You remembered. I remember too much. Maya took the second cup. Dad, are you sure? Marcus looked through the glass. Table 9 was clean, but the window still held rain lines. I don't want a diner to become a monument. Jonah met him by the counter. The video's with the city archive now. Good. What did you tell people? That you asked for your watch. Marcus almost smiled. Accurate. Lisa Drew arrived in plain clothes, holding a folded letter. Alma's shoulders stiffened. I start field training Monday, Lisa said. Different supervisor. Ethics before patrol. Marcus took the letter, but did not open it. You do not owe me paper first. I knew enough to act, Lisa said, and I waited for someone braver. Maya's cup touched its saucer with a small click. Steam rose and vanished. Do not build your future apology around me, Marcus said. Build it around the person who will not be recognized. Lisa nodded. Yes, sir. Outside, the crooked corner of the sign lifted and tapped the glass. Maya watched it. Mom would have straightened that. She would have made Claire reprint it. And then fed everyone. Marcus looked at the stopped watch in his palm. Diner noise softened. Cups, rain gutters, chairs. He handed the watch to Maya. Keep it until the scholarship ceremony. Her fingers closed around it as if the metal were warm. At the door, the new sign swung in the same cold wind that had followed him out in cuffs, but this time, people looked up when it moved. 3 weeks later, Magnolia Line opened at 7 with the same bell over the door and a new notebook beside the register. Alma wrote each complaint in blue ink now. cold eggs, late toast, a check printed twice. Claire tried to keep it under the counter until Jonah placed it in plain sight. "It looks ugly there," Claire said. "It belongs where people can see it," Jonah answered. At table 9, Marcus sat with coffee black and untouched. Pale November sun crossed the window, but faint rain lines still marked the glass. Alma set a corrected receipt beside his cup. "No mistakes this time." Marcus looked at the red pen clipped to her apron. "You kept it?" "I keep it where I can reach it." Claire approached with both hands folded. "Judge Ellison, I don't expect you to forgive this place." "I came for coffee," Marcus said. "That isn't an answer. It is the answer I have today." Near the pie case, Jonah adjusted a sign about rights. Walter Reed picked up his spoon before it could fall. Across town, the public report filled 12 pages. Brett Harlan had been terminated for improper detention, property mishandling, and failure to follow policy. Cole Mercer had been removed from shift command and assigned to review before any return to supervision. Lisa Drew stood in a training room facing new recruits. "I waited for rank to become conscience," she told them. "It doesn't." Tessa Grant passed out new custody forms. At the top of each page was Marcus's line, "State the reason before restraint." At noon, Maya met her father outside the Civic Hall. The scholarship table held student essays and a framed photograph of Lila laughing into the wind. Maya carried the silver watch, its chain repaired, its lid polished until the engraving shone. "The jeweler said it might stop again," she said. Marcus took it carefully. "Then we listen while it works." Inside, Alma arrived with Jonah. Tessa came with her brother Evan, who carried his acceptance letter in a folder too large for his hands. Lisa entered last and stayed near the aisle until Maya waved her forward. No one mentioned Harlan when the first scholarship was announced. Marcus stepped to the microphone only after Maya touched his sleeve. "My wife believed a door should open before a child had to beg," he said. "This city closed one on me for a morning. Others have faced worse for longer. Today is not a celebration of my name. It is a promise to notice sooner." He stepped back before applause could grow too large. Afterward, Evan approached him. "Judge Ellison?" "Yes, sir." "My sister said your wife expected things." Marcus glanced at Tessa, who wiped one eye with the heel of her hand. "She did." "What would she expect from me?" Marcus placed the repaired watch in the boy's palm for 1 second. It ticked there, small and stubborn. "To arrive on time for the life you asked for." By evening, the diner sign glowed again over the highway. Marcus and Maya walked past it without going in. Through the window, Alma laughed at something Jonah said. Claire served a table herself, and Walter lifted his spoon before it slipped. Maya tucked her arm through her father's. "Do you feel finished?" Marcus watched the new sign move each time the door opened. "No," he said, "but I feel less alone with it." The watch ticked inside Maya's coat pocket as they crossed beneath the quiet light. If this story made you think of a moment when someone's dignity was ignored, share it in the comments. Your words may help another person feel less alone. Send this story to someone who believes justice is not only about punishment, but about changing the habits that let harm repeat. And subscribe for more stories about quiet strength, accountability, and the kind of courage that does not need to shout to change a room. Every week, we bring you emotional stories where ordinary witnesses, small choices, and honest records can turn silence into change. Sometimes the most powerful witness is the person who finally refuses to look away.